it feels like there's this invisible deadline. Like if you're not successful by the age of 30, you feel like you're failed. What are your views on that? Like, do you feel the same way?
I think that's really deep and
Yeah,
relatable topic. Something that bothers, I would say, the millennials. You know, especially if you get in or hit in your 30s,
yeah,
or even slightly beyond it, you seen your fellow, your colleague or your friend doing really well, getting married, acquiring all kind of stuff they need in life. Meanwhile, you see yourself like you feel stuck, like you're not getting it all together.
That's true.
So I think it's deep, so deep.
So I've been doing some thinking, right? And this is my opinion. I don't know if we would share the same sentiments about it. But for me, it feels like there's this invisible deadline. Like if you're not successful by the age of 30, you feel like you're failed. What are your views on that? Like, do you feel the same way?
I think that's really deep and relatable topic. Something that bothers, I would say, the millennials. Especially if you get in or hit in your 30s,
Yeah.
or even slightly beyond it. I can relate to that so much because I would say all those things comes from that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
Comes from more about society.
Exactly.
When you look at how society sees everything and how you fit into the society based on your standard.
True. Society has a lot to play with it, do with it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aside that, when I look at it, we could relate to family expectations as well.
Oh, that's a big one there.
Yeah. Family expectations, and I would say peer comparisons.
Yeah.
It's like you're seeing your fellow, your colleague or your friend doing really well, getting married, acquiring all kind of stuff they need in life. Meanwhile, you see yourself like you feel stuck, like you're not getting it all together.
That's true.
So I think it's deep, so deep.
Yeah, it is, like, because when you're young, like you would sit down with your friends and then you guys would speak and you would say, oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be rich, I want to have money, I want to travel the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe everyone somehow had that kind of,
yeah, like, and
dream.
Yeah, but and the thing about it, like when you're a child, like you're so focused like that, this is what you want to be, and then when you get older and then you enter high school, then things change, your perspective of life change, and then the things that you want to be, and then you say, nah, I don't think I want to do that anymore.
Yeah. And to add to that, it's in my perspective, it's like when you're still young, you have those unlimited dream thoughts that comes around in your mind.
Definitely.
You want to achieve nearly everything. You want to acquire everything in the world when you grow. That's what you say. Like when I grow, I want to travel the world. I want to do the world tour. I want to buy, a good car. We all have that kind of thought.
I think
reality of life, when you aging, when you growing, becoming a man or a woman, it totally changes.
Yeah.
And you start making decisions.
Bad decisions as well. That
is going to reshape everything you've been planning or thinking about.
Because for me, there's so much factors in life that can cause you not to reach your goals.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that mindset, then you just forget about it. You forget about your dreams and what you want to be, and then just when life gives you lemon, instead of you squeezing it and making juice, you just continue squeeze. So like you're comfortable,
Yeah.
and it dawned on me, like I was like, wow.
Yeah, to me, growing up is more about re-examining yourself and aligning your life goals into your like expectation into what life, the reality of the situation or circumstances you find yourself. To me, that's how I see it.
Yeah.
Because if you growing and you haven't got to that stage of your life where you need to do certain things to put yourself in a
that
position so you can get to where you want to get to.
True.
That's when you're gonna start life. You're gonna feel things are going.
That's why I said as well, like you have to be so focused, because there's so much factors in life that can cause you distract you, like
of course,
there's so much stuff, like there's there's parties, there's peer pressure, there's sorry, there's if you're poor, because I know a lot of persons, like if they had the the finances to send their children to school, they would have been in a better position. Some people make the sacrifice to like make sure their children do it, but some are like, if they just can't do it.
Yeah, I think to that it more boils down to how you grew up, how you had your childhood. You know, I see as there are two kind of people. One in a group where they grew up having everything they, without even asking, striving for it.
Yeah.
And there is another group who literally have to dig deep everything for themselves.
And let me ask you, which one do you think values it more and would push and excel?
Well,
because I've seen it. I've seen it from primary school. I've seen it in high school, and I've seen it in my adult. You see, this is my opinion, right? Like, I believe that the less fortunate children, they would excel more than the persons who are able to get handouts, like who are able to
they have that help.
They have that
at the early stage.
At early stage, yeah. The ones that don't have, I believe, this is my opinion. I've proved it before, but it's still my opinion.
Yeah.
I believe, and I've seen that the ones who are less fortunate, that who like they cherish stuff, they're the ones that excel more in school and put themselves out there.
Yeah.
Because they've grown and they've seen where their parents, the struggle the parents went through, and they're like, I want to be better. But the ones that have it, they get laid back, they procrastinate. They feel that I'll just live off of my parents.
Yeah. I would say some people have it like that. It's more about the mindset and the kind of mentorship you had growing up.
That's true.
Because some parents, they had it all at early stage, and they provided everything their kids needs at the early stage. But they were smart about it, and through words of advices, life experiences, trying to put that child in a situation where they are conscious about, when I grow up, I need not to depend on my father's resources to make it in life.
Yeah.
There are those kind of parents, there are those kind of community you find yourself in.
Yeah.
And the other side of it is some parents literally spoil those kids. They provide everything they need or they want without thinking of, trying to educate that kind of child.
True.
Because education doesn't have to be only school.
No.
You could put your child, even if you have everything all together, you could still train your child to become responsible, to start building things for himself at early stage instead of relying so much on your resources as a father. or a parent. But it all depends, because someone might have another view about it. Because,
But at
it's
the end
like-
of the day, this is our opinion as well, and
Yeah.
I think they're very valid because I've seen it, and I'm sure you've seen it as well, and you've witnessed that.
Yeah, I've witnessed it, because growing up, I've met people, I had friends, I have, school friends.
Who are like
They had everything.
Exactly.
Everything. Well, even when it comes to examination, common mathematical set, you need to do your geometry.
yeah.
Growing up, some of us, we actually did struggle. Even acquiring that is a problem. But some of the kids, they had everything. They have mathematical set, they have the latest calculator, they have the latest, the most of beautiful books, notebooks and stuff. Like, they have it all. You understand?
But yet they're still not performing.
Yet,
Academically.
Academically, when results are out, they lag behind.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think they don't value because they're getting it. They're being spoon fed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think like if like your generation, like your children, let's speak it into existence.
Okay.
When we do get rich, right? You have to speak it into existence.
The thing is, everyone wants to become rich,
But no one wants to
Everybody.
work hard for
Yeah,
it.
but
Yeah.
the way to becoming rich is still a myth. There are all kind of theory, all kind of things, but it's not that straightforward.
Yeah, but let's just say we become rich and then you have children. How would you train them? Like, what stuff would you instill in them? Like, because obviously you don't want them to struggle with the things you struggled with growing up.
Yeah.
But then how do you differentiate what to do and what not to do? Like, try to keep it leveled.
To keep the balance.
Yeah.
I would say coming from a background where you have to dig everything, strive for yourself.
Yeah.
It's actually opened my mind very early at a very younger stage. So I started to think forward, think like an adult, whilst I was still very young.
Yeah.
So when I start having family, and when it comes to educating my children
Yeah.
to become those responsible people in the society, the best way to go about it is let them do. If I say to let them do something, it means I'm going to put them in a situation where they have to think, they have to strive as well.
Right.
Not to the extreme. I'm not saying if they need help, they can fall on me.
Right.
But even though the help is there, I'm not going to just give it to you like that. I want to see
You work hard for it.
what do you do, how are you going to think, how are you going to do, even if you need help, how are you going to approach me as a father, like as a child, and approach you, parents asking for help. Why are you asking for help? What's your struggle? And then I'm going to start reasoning with you. By doing that, the child is going to start thinking deeper.
Yeah, so before he decides to come to you,
He's
he's gonna try to work out every possible way before he leaves. Okay, I definitely need help with this.
Exactly.
Yeah, fair point.
And then when it happens like that, as a father, you talk. Talk with your child and figure out what's not going on well.
Yeah.
You find his struggles. If it's something you can guide him to achieve, that's the best way. To me personally, that's how I'm going to do it. But if something that needs your immediate intervention,
Right.
Why not?
True.
Why not? Because at the end of the day, you hustling to provide a better future for them. That's it to me.
For me personally, I would do the same. It's amazing, like, to just sit down and think about think about it from when you was a child to now?
So I've got an interesting question for you.
Okay.
How was your own experience, growing up? How was it
For me?
you? Yeah.
Like
Defining
defining.
goals, success, achievement, and where you want to see yourself, like in your 30s and beyond.
Okay. Well, for me, growing up, there was two things that I wanted to be: a doctor and an entrepreneur.
You know why I laugh?
Why?
If you take like 90% of the world population, like growing up as a kid,
Everyone
everyone
wants
say,
to be
I
a
want to be
doctor. It's either a doctor, a police, a fireman,
It's all around.
teacher. Yeah, but like doctor, police, and fireman and lawyer. I think those were like the four main ones. Yeah, that people. Yeah, yeah. But then when I reached to at an early age, I knew I want. There was, as I said, there was the two things: a doctor and an entrepreneur. Because I always had like I always wanted to to own my own business. Like you talk to any of my family, they would tell you, "Oh, I'm always selling stuff,"
Wow.
From an early age,
Wow.
I was always selling stuff. I was always.
You're a real hustler.
I was a hustler, bro. Yeah, I'm always selling stuff. So yeah, when I got to high school, I was doing biology. I was doing good at it, but then I couldn't be asked, man. So I dropped. I didn't drop it, but yeah, that didn't work out. So me personally, I'm not where I wanna be as yet, but I'm almost there.
Yeah.
I'm almost there.
So to put it in a simple perspective, it's like you're still in progress.
I'm still in progress.
The work is in progress.
The work is in progress. Yeah, man.
Yeah. I would say that's the best way to put it together.
But but for me, because at one point I was confused, like what because when you reach a certain age and then you're seeing your friends like doing stuff and they're excelling and you're probably because
that influence, that's like peer influence.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, you sometimes as young adults you have to sit down and just evaluate your own self.
Which is really important.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to sit down and evaluate your own self and forget about what's going on, like what your friends are like, what your friends' achievement or what's not, and just focus on yourself. And that's what I did. And I sat down and I did a lot of thinking. What do I want to be? The Lord's willing, like God spare my life. Like what do I want? How do I see myself in 10 years from now? Where would I be? And I started to think, and me thinking and doing an evaluation of my own self,
which is a good step, man.
Which is very good. And I would advise like any young people today, like if you're confused on what you want to be, if you feel like you're getting pressured from your peers or your family or what's not, just sit down and evaluate yourself, and that's all you have to do.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's like it's you versus you.
Exactly.
That's how I see it. Never compete with nobody.
You can't.
I have my own timeline, my strength,
Exactly.
my weaknesses,
Yeah.
and I try to walk my journey based on what I can.
Exactly.
And I cannot. No.
And one thing as well, like there's this saying in the Caribbean, like goat luck is not sheep's luck.
What does that mean?
It simply means what would work for you won't work for me.
Oh yeah. Fair.
Yeah, exactly. So like you can't watch your friend doing this and say, okay, you're gonna try that because it probably might not work out for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop you from trying.
No.
If you have the interest in it.
If you have the interest, then
if you see yourself, you can do it better. You have the potential. You have that feeling of it could work for me.
Yeah, then do it then.
Do it.
By all means, do it.
Because there's no wrong in trying.
Exactly.
You regret if you don't even make a step or try.
And the biggest thing that I always say I don't want to do is like sitting down and saying, what if? what if? I hate that. I want to do it. Let's do it. If it doesn't work, let's try something else.
Yeah, I think you're more practical.
I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah, you want to get your hands on it and then get
Yeah.
it done.
If it doesn't work, I'll move on. Because I hate to be sitting down and saying, what if I did this? What if I did that? I'm telling you.
Well, yeah.
So me, as back to what I was saying, me personally, me evaluating myself, even though I'm not, I haven't reached the goals that I plan to reach as yet, but I mean, though I'm a work in progress, it brought me here today, right here where we are right now.
Yeah. Personally, what moves me is it's all right to be in progress. It's all right to haven't not figure everything out.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's a journey you're walking alone. Even though you get the help at some point when you need it, but it's a journey you're working on alone. And the best thing that works or that helps me is, I tell myself I'm in my own timeline. I just remind myself, like what you said earlier, like what worked for someone might not be exactly the same as mine. It might not work for me.
Exactly.
So I try to do it how best I can. How best is helping me today to become or draw me closer to where I want to get or who I want to become tomorrow. So just break everything down into baby steps. I think that works so much for me. Because the dream might seem really big, massive, and sometimes dreams are not clear enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Once you start doing the baby step, the little things you can, touch today, eventually over time it's gonna build up and gradually get you to where you want to get to.
Yeah, and like if you find something that you love, then work on it.
It's good to pursue it.
It's good to pursue what you love, because it doesn't, for me, it doesn't make sense doing something that you don't enjoy. You have to enjoy you have to be able to enjoy it. You have to wake up in the morning and say, all right, this is my job, this is my goal, let's do it.
This is what you want to become.
This is what I want to become. This is my life. If you're not getting that feeling in the morning, then you need to start to change your perspective. You need to start evaluating yourself.
So it's more like define your priorities. Know where you're going.
Exactly.
If that's part of your future aspirations and you have the love for doing it without having any regret for years to come, you go for it.
Exactly. And perfect example, just look at Mandela.
Mandela, the South African, Nelson Mandela.
Yeah. It took him over 50 years to become, to gain power,
Over 50 years.
50 years. So I'm telling you, like, if Mandela can do it, who is you? Who are you?
Yeah, I think it all boils down to everyone wanting to have that peaceful, life.
Yeah.
Have the basic needs in life and to be able to provide for their families and friends. I think that's how most of the people, that's how we want it. That's what most of people want, to secure a better future whereby you're not striving, you're not struggling to get your daily bread.
I've heard my grandparents talk about it. Like in their time, they didn't get to go to school. Like their parents were not focused on that because they didn't value education.
Yeah.
Which led,
when you look at it back then, education wasn't really accessible.
Yeah.
It was a struggle. It wasn't really accessible as now we are in the information age whereby everyone can access any kind of resources, information at your fingertips.
Well, that
See,
depends.
that makes the difference.
Yeah, that depends on where you are as well too. Because I remember my grandmothers and my grandfather saying to me, like, if their parents like had the obviously didn't have all that funds, but probably if they were focused, like how they were focused, because my grandparents didn't have it when they were growing up.
Yeah.
But they made sure that their children
Had it.
were able to get a successful education. You get me?
Makes sense.
Which allow them to excel
Makes sense.
in this life today. But what I'm saying, if their parents had that kind of mindset, even though they were not, like, because
I think that's a great factor to consider. The mindset, how your parents think about, the future of their kids.
yeah, and this is what I'm gonna instill in my children's life. Like, you see, generational wealth. It's very important.
It's something that really plays a really huge role.
But I mean, I don't want anyone to get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying like they probably had it or what's not, because back then, like, poverty is still in, but like it was really there. Like, people were literally struggling. Like, no one, they didn't have like shoes to go on their feet. They didn't have pens or paper or what's not. But like, I just feel like if they valued it more, it would have been better for my grandparents or what's not. Yeah.
Yeah. As for me, I won't put any blame on my parent or my grandfather.
I'm not putting any blame on them, but
it's more like whatever life brings to you, you've got to accept it, stand firm, and figure it out.
Yeah.
Because there is always a way to do something that what you usually think it can be done. Yeah. So it's more about, find yourself, examine yourself. Where do you find yourself? If your parent made it, put everything down there for you before you were brought up to this world, you're going to find it a little bit easier because you have the resources. But when it happens that you find yourself in a situation where you don't have it, bro, you can still make it.
yeah, you can.
And you can change the storyline.
Exactly.
So it's more about finding yourself, know where you're coming from, where you're going, and each and single day try to become the better version of yourself.
On that, I know of a guy like they didn't have light, but he used to go under the street light to study, and he did very good in his exam.
Yeah, I've been there before too.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, so sometimes I just feel like we are to blame. Like, sometimes, bro, like when you are eating the banana, someone is eating the freaking skin, and like
Such is life.
exactly. Like,
Such is
when you
life.
think your situation is worse, there are people far worse than you.
Yeah. So it's good to appreciate what you have.
Yeah.
If you want more of it, you have to figure it out. Like, I also believe you don't have to have it all figured out in your 30s. It's it's a different kind of timeline. Everyone finds himself in a different scenarios in life. And to me, it's all right to not have it all.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to
Still
anyone
okay.
listening right now to our podcast. It's okay if you're in your late 20s, you're in your early 30s. It's okay not to have it figured out all now.
Yeah.
Like,
The most important thing there is to make sure you're doing something today that is adding value to who you are.
Exactly.
Just to make you better than who you were yesterday.
exactly.
By doing that, you accumulate, you keep growing. Because I believe nobody grows in a day.
No
It
man,
takes
no
time
man,
to
no
grow.
man is no man in an island. Rome was a million one day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They say Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, so like
Which is totally
so like
true.
when parents are like they're pressuring you, and they expect this, they expect certain results. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to be the black sheep sometime until you catch
Yeah,
yourself.
eventually the rest will come.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
rest will come. The goal is keep striving, keep doing the little things you're doing today. You know what you want. You know where you want to get to. So do the little bit today. Eventually it's going to contribute, add up to, where you want to go. And yeah,
Yeah,
you'll
man.
make it.
All you have to do, just wait your turn. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it's coming. So just wait your turn, man. And don't go. And think about it. Like some people, they can't wait, so they go and do stuff
Yeah,
out of the way
yeah,
to try and
it's-
do it. And I'm telling you, you don't have to, man. You don't have to. Just wait your turn.
yeah, there are people like that. And I would say it all depends on where you find yourself, what's happening to you at that moment, because you could find yourself in a situation where you literally have no help nowhere, but you have to do something to get you out of that situation.
Yep.
And that could force you into things, doing certain
Doing
things
certain stuff.
does not align to your vision.
Exactly. That
And,
can really have a bad effect on your life. So
yeah,
you just have to be wise.
Yeah.
Have patience, and
Yeah.
most of all, put
Exactly.
God first. Like
God first.
exactly.
Um,
Let him. I mean, like,
God
bro.
first.
Sometimes you just
Speak-
have to pray. You just have to pray.
to be fair, sometimes you have nobody to speak to.
Yeah.
When the moments are becoming so dark, sometimes you just have to retreat, have that quiet time, your personal time, speak to God. Like,
Yeah.
you really, really need his strength, like his encouragement to help you get through this situation, so you can see the light again, because sometimes it can get dark.
Very dark.
And which is fine. It's part of life.
It
Because
is.
it needs to be up and down. That defines life to me. Because you cannot have everything rosy throughout. And when you look at the seasons, there are rainy season, dry season, and windy season. It's never one season throughout the year.
Yeah.
So everything has its own time.
Yeah.
The hard times are going to come. The happy times are going to come. The sad ones are going to come. All sort of them are going to come your way. But your ability to understand, accept what is happening to you, what's coming at you, and then find a better way to walk through it is the key.
Yeah. So even if you're as we said before, even if you're not successful in your late 20s or 30s, don't give up.
Yeah,
Don't give up. Your time is coming, man.
Yeah. Someone might be thinking, what do you define success? What do you say? Like, being successful.
Yeah. Being successful is for me, this is my opinion. Being successful is where you're at a point like you're doing what you enjoy doing, and it's beneficial to you, and you're financially stable, and you're happy and content. And that's success for me. Like that's
Yeah,
success.
you mentioned the word content. That's really powerful.
Yeah.
Because when you summarize everything, if you content and happy about even the little things you're doing, you even more successful than someone who is chasing the whole world.
I was just about to say like you can have all the money in the world and you're still not happy.
Yeah, it can happen.
Yeah. So
Contentment is really important.
Yeah.
In the equation, I would say.
and when I said that includes God as well, because without Him, your life has no meaning.
Yeah.
So
You need it at some
Yeah.
point. You need it at some point. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether you are religious or not.
Yeah.
This doesn't have to do with religion. It's more about your personal communication with, your creator.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, this was a good chat.
Yeah.
What do you think? It was a good chat, innit?
Yeah, I would say my words to anyone watching us is it's still okay. You haven't figured everything out.
Yeah.
It's life. That is life. And I believe even the richest people, the people who have made it all, have not figured everything out.
Yeah.
You know, there is always something to learn. The best is, keep building up.
Yeah.
Keep making sure you are better than who you are yesterday.
Yep.
And eventually be focused and lock on where you want to get to.
Yeah, and you're never too big to take correction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to be teachable. You need to unlearn. There is one say they say you need to unlearn to learn or relearn. There's something like that. I've heard something like that, Just take it like you can take advice, you can listen to people who are doing it right, and then learn from what they're doing right, and then add it up to what you already know.
Yep.
And then you're gonna see improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always good to filter advices. Not all advices are really
Yeah, you have to filter, you have to sift it like flour, yeah? Yeah.
It's really important. You need to be smart about
Yeah.
how you want your life. You don't let anybody to dictate your life, but listen, be open-minded, and learn from everything around you to make informed decisions.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll see you back on the next episode of Joint Insights Unfiltered.
Yeah, raw.
Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Peace.
Ciao.
Yeah.